All right, we're good. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Welcome to all of you watching us live, whether you're in a car, whether you're at home, whether you're at work, or on the bus. Excuse me. Still recovering from a little cough. Wherever you may be watching us from, I really appreciate you joining us live. And we had a little bit of a hiccup starting, but we're here now, and I'm really excited to dive into not just an educational crash course into social media algorithms, but also into a very special giveaway. So we're doing something very special for you guys to kick off the fall semester. I know a lot of you guys are about to get started with school, or you may already be in school, but I want us to kick off Q4 the right way. So we're doing a very special giveaway, and the details to it are going to be released throughout this stream. So make sure you guys are tuning in so we can continue to not just give you the information, but give you a way to win and really win some incredible prizes. I think we put something special together for you guys here. So I hope you believe the same thing, because I'm looking forward to working with a couple of you guys who win this prize package, which is going to be announced the week of Magic happening in Las Vegas. So if you're from Las Vegas or wherever you may be, if you're watching us live right now, leave a comment in the chat letting us know where you're from, where are you watching us from, and what stage in business are you. Introduce yourselves a little bit here. This live stream is for you. It's a chance for us to connect and for you to network with everybody else that's also watching. So where are you from and what stage in business are you? If you're in Las Vegas, you have an opportunity for us to do, we're actually going to do like an event for the giveaway. So we're going to have a little meetup happening the week of Magic, which more details to be announced very soon. So all of that to say, I am excited to start this training today, this live training. We're watching with you guys, and we're gonna get this thing going. So I see What Up Basketball from Lawton, Oklahoma, just starting. Hey, I appreciate you joining us. And basketball is such a big sport, and so many opportunities there to really brand and branch out. So as promised, in this video, the goal is to really break down how social media algorithms work and then give you guys the blueprint and game plan into how you can apply it into your own brand. Now, these aren't just going to be hacks that go, you start one day and then they're non-existent the next day. These are key strategies and key things that you need to keep in mind before you even push record. So before that record button and before that action button, you got to keep these things in mind. So we're going to really be diving into this in this live stream. So I'm very excited for that. And in order to really kick this off, we got somebody from Sydney, Australia. That's so incredible, man. Thank you for joining us, Carlos from Sydney, all the way from Sydney, Australia. I really want to visit that place out there. So to start off this algorithm, how the algorithms for social media work, I wanted to start it off with a story for you guys. And this story, trust me, is going to come full circle into how the algorithms work. But yesterday, I was sitting at home right after work and I got done eating. And I was on YouTube because I just love browsing, seeing what's out there, who's coming out, what's happening in the space. And I saw that Fortnite released the Power Rangers skin. And I was like, what? Power Rangers? So I clicked on it. I want you guys to watch this clip real quick, just so you know what I'm referencing. So Preston's about to hit it up on screen.
Faster than we could fight back.
You guys can hear the sound or not, but I hope you guys can see the audio.
Turns out it's morphin' time.
So right now it's playing that iconic Power Rangers music. You got Peely, and then you got the Red Ranger coming in with the crew. And it was so funny watching this with my daughter because she automatically saw the crop for the old TV crop. And she said, "This was an old show, right, Dad?" And I was like, "Yes, this was my show. This was what I waited every week to see a new episode of." And seeing it on Fortnite, I just legitimately brought me back to being a kid. So excited to play today. If you guys are unrelated, but if you're on Fortnite, leave your gamer tag and I'll add you. But so this commercial here, I'm showing this to you guys if you're joining us. We're going to be breaking down what this means and how the algorithms function today. And okay, see that? That's that iconic intro, the Power Rangers, the nostalgia, right? So I share this to say that, as I was watching that and as I was preparing this presentation today, I said, this is a perfect analogy for how the algorithms work. So back in the day when I was 5 years old, I remember a guy coming to the house and he knocked on the door and we were like, who's this guy? It's a random guy door knocking. And he said he was from a company called Nielsen's TV ratings. And we let him in and he said, I got an opportunity for you guys to make some money while you watch TV. And I said, I like to watch TV and I'd like to make some money. So come on in. And he sat down and he explained to our family that he was going to put this little box in our TV. And back then, the TVs weren't thin TVs. These things were like massive. They were like this big. They were like bricks. And he said, I just got to open up your TV. I'm going to stick this black box in there. And then anytime you watch TV, we'll know what you're watching and you get paid. We said, what? And my dad said, is that thing spying on us? Is it going to hear our conversations? Right. So he was very like, no. Pretty much, I wasn't able to make money watching TV, but I learned something about TV that day that it also applies to social media today. It's how the algorithms were founded. So back then, Nielsen TV ratings essentially went to neighborhoods all across America and all across the world and installed these little black boxes onto the TV. Anytime somebody would watch the channel or watch a show, like the Power Rangers in my case, it would show how many households were essentially represented by that small box, right? So we're a Hispanic family of 5. So based on us having that little black box, it would create some data and say, hey, most Hispanics or a group of these Hispanics are watching the show at this time. And let's pull up one of the photos, the archive photos there, Preston. So Nielsen's TV ratings every single week launched a show category, and it would tell you in real time how many people were actually watching your show. So this was data that advertisers used. So if we zoom in a little bit, we could see that that we got, different shows that launched in that season. So I actually pulled up like the 1990s there. So this is like an archive here, guys, but this is real data that people were essentially using to say, hey, what is the success of a TV show? How many millions of people are watching the show? How long are they watching the show? And how much should we as television network charge advertisers to put ads in the slots of this show? Right. So today, if you're watching social media, it's a similar format. You're watching a YouTube video and an ad plays at the beginning, in the middle, and maybe at the end. Nielsen's TV ratings was the OG of this back in the day. So as we expand into that, that's essentially the report that Nielsen would create. And today, everything you watch is being tracked, right? So my dad back in the day wanted nothing to do with tracking. He said, I want to watch my telenovela in peace. I don't need you to know what I'm watching. And me as a kid, I'm like, Dad, we can make $50 a month, because they were paying $50 a month to just install this thing, because it was data that they would use against advertisers, so they would get paid more. So the higher the ratings, the bigger the budgets they would get. And that essentially laid the foundation to what social media is today. Traditional media, the same practices are now applied to social media. Why do I say that? Because it's very important to keep this in mind, guys. If you guys don't understand how the algorithms are working, it's very hard to break in and actually break out. So what I want to show right now, I want you to pull up the TV versus social media comparison chart. We're going to dive into this. We're doing a deep dive. I hope you guys are taking some notes. And if you're not taking notes, this is going to be available on the replay. So we are going to keep going. All right. And we got some people from Los Angeles, Echo Park, designing and embroidery, stacking content for launch. I love it, man. I love it. The profit. All right. So TV versus social media. All right. So I wanted to create this like quick little snapshot here for you guys to see the correlation between the two. Now, at the very top, and the most important, is watch time and retention. So watch time and retention is essentially the thing that you need to keep in mind when it comes to producing any type of content. This means how much time are people watching what you create, and when do they drop off, or how fast do they drop off? What points are they dropping off? This is all important information, because social media is using that as the key metric to let people know, hey, this is entertaining enough for you to watch too, right? So in the Power Rangers example, we were watching that show religiously every single week, right? And because we were watching it every week, if we would have had that little black box installed, it would have driven the Power Rangers data up, and they would have gotten new seasons. They would have gotten maybe an expanded universe, right? So like the more successful something is, the more it gets pushed out. And in social media, it's the same thing. The more that somebody's watching your content repetitively, the more that it's going to promote new content from you, as long as it keeps performing the same way. So this also means that it's also important that you check out sessions length and returning visits, right? So they don't want you to just have somebody watch one clip and then leave, right? It's also important to keep in mind how long they stay in the actual platform. So if it's the content on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, they care about session length too. So if your content is bringing somebody into the platform, right? So if they put it on the homepage and you watch it, and now you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. You watch it through, then you swipe to the next one, and you swipe to the next one. And for some reason, a piece of content makes you be like, oh, why am I on social media? Let me get off. That piece of content isn't going to do as good. So it's important that you also make content that keeps people on the platform. So a lot of times when it comes to making educational type of content like this, YouTube doesn't give us as much credit for session length, because I also tell you about different tools and resources that you can use. So a lot of times you guys write it down, or maybe you click the link to save it, and then that cancels the session length, right? So that's why educational channels oftentimes don't go as viral as entertaining channels, because entertaining channels is all about keeping you hooked and watching episode after episode. You're not in the thought process of thinking or educating yourself. So there's different channels that will just naturally have higher view count. And it's the same strategy that you got to apply for your brand. You got to come up with a content strategy that'll allow you to keep people coming back, watching more, and have more session time on those platforms. If you can do that, you're off to an incredible start. Now, the other thing that we got to keep in mind when it comes to social media and what the algorithms prioritize is demographic. When it comes to behavioral interest and segmentation, right? So this means that social media knows everything about you, everything you watch, everything you've clicked, everything you've commented on, everything you've shared. It even listens to you. I know for sure it listens to you. It knows all this, right? So it's literally building a profile of you as you go out throughout your everyday life. So it's literally building an avatar, right? So now, whenever we talk in marketing to build your ideal avatar, it's important to do that, because on social media, it has the profiles of every single person that you want to reach. Now, based on that, it'll actually curate the algorithm. It'll curate your homepage. And what's really interesting about how the algorithms function is that it curates based on not just what you like watching, but what times you like watching it. So what does that mean? That means that it knows when you wake up what type of content you like to consume. It knows when you're on the toilet what you like to watch. It knows when you're on break for lunch what type of content you consume. And even on the drive home, it sees you moving. Your phone is moving and operating. It's like, oh, this guy's on a drive. That means he's going to like some of these podcasts or some of this educational stuff, right? It knows every single detail about you. And when you sit down at home for dinner, it knows that you're at home. And it'll say, hey, he wants to watch something more on TV. Like, let's give him some wide format stuff for him to really sit down and eat some lunch and, enjoy his day. So the algorithm is curating content based on every single action you've taken, and it's trying to predict the next action you're going to take. So because of that, it's so important that whenever you're creating content, that you are hooking people right at the start, right out the gate. The first 3 seconds of how you set up your video is the most important when it comes to, being in the algorithm and going viral or getting views. A lot of times it's a second thought that you start to put together after you film the video. You're like, okay, I need to have a better entertaining intro. Let me just edit this in here, and that works. But if you're scripting your videos the right way, and if you're outlining them the right way, your hook should be engaging, and it should be the thing that gets people for the first 3 seconds, right? So they click on it, or they've seen it in their story or their feed. They watch it. They're hooked. First 3 seconds, next 3 seconds. If you go in 3-second increments, you'll make some banger videos. And the main difference between traditional and social media today is that it's the same thing. It still has the feedback loop, right? So we still have the audience feedback loops, but here it's the instant audience feedback loop. What used to be before, like, hey, if you're a part of that Nielsen's TV ratings, they would send surveys out, or they invite you to lunch and ask you about different shows and what you enjoyed and what you didn't enjoy about things. Well, now it's instant. They can tell if you like it or not. Did you like it? Did you share it? Did you comment on it? Did you replay it? Did you stop at a certain point? All of these are data that the algorithm is getting, and it's telling the algorithm if it's a good piece of content or not, and should we promote it to more people that are like you, right? So at the end of the day, everything you watch and consume has built a profile around who you are. It knows your deepest, darkest secrets, and it knows everything that you're interested in and that you may be interested in. And the reason I say may is because it's also based on what you're searching, right? And access that advertisers have from website clicks. And there's so much stuff that happens on the back end with Meta and YouTube and TikTok. Like, they literally can say, hey, this guy might be interested in this. So they start serving you content that you might be interested in, and you never really thought that you would be interested in, but they're trying to keep you on their platform, because the ultimate goal of social media and the algorithms is for them to get watch time. The more watch time a platform can get, the more they can charge advertisers. The more advertisers come, the more revenue they get, and they can continue to grow big and dominate the world. That is, in a nutshell, how things work. So I want to go ahead and let you guys know that's going to be more, but I wanted you to just kind of let that simmer and let that kind of connect with you right now. If you're watching this on a live stream right now, leave a question that you may have that's maybe a hurdle or a roadblock that you're currently encountering, with something that we can assist with in real time on the live chat. So we can answer it as we take these little breaks. And if you're just joining us on the live for the you just tuned in right now, make sure you guys stay tuned, because we're doing a special giveaway for everybody in this community. It's been a while since I've done a giveaway. I was actually thinking back at it, yesterday or 2 days ago, and I was like, I think it's been around a year since we last did a giveaway. So this giveaway we're putting together, I wanted to make very impactful for the winners, right? And we're not just going to have one winner. We're going to have 3 winners. And the winners are going to be announced Week of Magic, which is a trade show happening here in Las Vegas. And we do have plans to attend and create a little event, little meet and greet, and everybody to meet and greet each other. We're going to be out there. So make sure you stick around. If you're in Las Vegas, or if you're planning to come in for the event, maybe you're in California or Phoenix and you're like, I've heard of this event, I want to go to it. Well, make sure you stick around too, because at the end, I'm going to give an opportunity. If you are planning to come, if you don't have a ticket or entrance, I want you guys to hit me up. Let's make something special. We'll hook you guys up with some passes. All right. So we got a couple people. Let us know where you're coming in from. So we got All Heart Grind. Just as I thought, it's all about advertising, whether it's TV or social media. That's exactly what it is. Whether it's TV or social media, it's all about the money. So what does that mean for you as a brand owner? What does that mean for you as somebody that's making content, right? Because at the end of the day, you need to be able to get in front of people. You need eyeballs to your content in order to drive visits to your site. And you're left with one of 2 options. You're left with either paying for traffic through a advertising monetized campaign, or you're left with trying to make sure that your content can reach the algorithm and reach your ideal target customer. All right, so let's dive into the next part. Okay, so the one thing I want to dive into now, let's pull up that graph, the algorithm priorities. We're going to pull up a quick 6 things to keep in mind. We covered it a little bit in the last table. I want to go ahead and just make sure that you guys understand what this means, because honestly, as soon as you understand what this means, you'll start looking at your content and your graph of your actual performance. You'll be like, oh, that's what all that metric means. And then you'll see why some videos take off over some that don't. You'll see it leads to these 6 things. Watch time and retention. How long did people stay watching your video, and where did they drop off? Was it at the 30% mark? Was it at the 15% mark? Does that mean you have to make shorter content? Maybe you have to make longer content, right? There's different things. If you make a shorter piece of content and people only watch 1 second, maybe they only have a 10% watch time. But if you made a longer piece of content, maybe they watch 2 minutes of 3. That's like a huge watch time, right? It's almost 60%, a little bit over 60% watch time and retention. So these things matter. It can give you data on how long your content should be so you could focus on the right things. Session length and return visits. Again, this is the thing that we discussed. How long did they stay on Instagram? How long did they stay on TikTok or YouTube after watching your video, right? Did your video bring them to the platform? If your video is something that was shared and brought somebody to the platform, they're going to prioritize getting more views to that video because they know, hey, the more people watch this, the more they're sharing it and the more new people are coming in. That's what makes a video go viral. Engagement signals are the things like likes, saves, bookmarks, shares, comments. What you're saying is giving an indication that, hey, this is a good piece of content that people are talking about. Click-through rate. Now, this has to do more with a lot more. Oftentimes, it might be more on the homepage of like Instagram and TikTok, but this is a huge indicator in YouTube. The higher the click-through rate means good title, good thumbnail. That means that it's a good video, right? So the higher you can get it, the more it's going to be promoted on the home pages. Completion rate, this is how many people actually watched it all the way through. And how relevant is the content? Now, this is one thing that a lot of people do not fully grasp often, right? So content relevance is very important. And the reason I say it's very important is because the more relevant and timely a piece of content is, and it's in a conversation that's happening right now, it's social, it's, you know, whether it's a couple days ago with Sydney Sweeney, right? She has great jeans ad. If your content was around that and you made something funny related to it, the algorithm would just naturally promote that content because it was something that was culturally relevant. So if you can make content that's culturally relevant, that's the best way to be growing, especially for a new account, especially on TikTok and Instagram. You want to be relevant with your content if you're just getting started. As you grow your brand and you develop it, then you can get to more, you know, evergreen style of content and things that are entertaining. But if you are trying to break out, content relevance is the game. And content relevance is essentially, it's a quick way to also burn out, but it's a really good way for you to test your ideas. So if you know things are trending within the market, doing it in your own way will start to give you good results, right? You'll start getting views, you'll start getting traction, and then you'll also start understanding how the actual algorithms function and who your audience that you're capturing is. So content relevance is a great way to break in for sure when it comes to social media. Now, we got a couple people. I asked at the beginning of this live, I said, hey, where are you guys from and what stage of business are you? So we got from Louisville, from Liverpool, Australia. You know, we got a couple people from Liverpool and I mean, in terms of Australia. So I'm definitely going to have to make a visit out there. You guys got to get me a, you know, you have to go here type of place if you come to Australia, because I hear there is a lot of things that can kill you, and it's a beautiful country. But I like it. I like it. I like danger, even though I got kids now. I like it. I like them to be on their toes a little bit every once in a while. Okay. So what does all this information mean to you? All right. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, okay, a lot of details. How do I start? What do I do? Well, you know, just like in the Power Rangers, it's morphin' time. It's time for us to break down tactically how you begin. All right. The very first thing is that you do not need to think about what equipment you should use. All right. I always get that question. I say the number one question before making content: what's the best camera, best light, best mic? None of that matters. The 6 things we just shared are the most important things that matter to the algorithm. You could literally be making your phone, your videos on an iPhone, and if it matches those 6 things and it does well in those 6 key pillars, that content is going to be promoted. Now, I love when I say that and then somebody does it, right? Because every single person watching right now, you have a very interesting angle and perspective that you can share that other people aren't seeing, right? And when it comes to social media, the US is the biggest market, right? Like we're the biggest consumers and we're the biggest creators, and everybody watches US based creators and they love when they see them traveling to different countries, right? Um, I say that to say that you don't need the best equipment to start. You just need to have the right game plan. So, what does that game plan mean? How does it work? How do you start? Well, I want to show you guys right now in a very simple diagram. I created this diagram. I was going to draw it in real time. Then I was like, I got some ugly circles and stuff. So I had ChatGPT just take my drawing and make it look pretty. Can we pull up those social media circles real quick? All right. So on screen right now is the game plan. All right. Very simple for you guys. I told you I was going to leave you with some gems that were going to be very easy to understand and implement. And grab some water real quick because we're about to dive into this. This is my big chug from Fortnite. So again, if you guys are on Fortnite, leave your gamer tag. All right. My kids love playing it, so I'm playing it too now. I played it before them. All right. So it starts with the very first circle. The inner circle here is called the core, right? I named this like the core, the nucleus. The core is essentially your core customer avatar. Who are you trying to target as a brand or as an account? What are their interests? What do they do for fun? What do they do after work? What do they do before work? How do they wake up in the morning? Where do they wake up in the morning? Do they drive a car? Do they ride a bus? Do they ride a bike, an e-bike, a scooter? What do they do for lunch? What do they do after lunch? Who do they talk to? What do they hang out? What clubs, organizations, what channels are they watching? What content is resonating with them? You see, everything we just talked about points back to understanding who your core audience viewer or customer is. Because as you develop a brand, the very first thing you need to understand is everything about your customer. A lot of times people just launch something and then they start to find out who their customer is. And that's always a good way to do it. It'll take you a little bit longer, but you want to start with a general idea of who it is. And as you launch it, you'll start to see, wait a minute, we have more people in this demographic that I wasn't really thinking was going to be our audience, right? I was on a brand owner call with, we have something called the Brand Owners Playbook. If you're watching this, it's a very incredible value right now, and we have it for a one-time purchase. You own it for life and it's yours to keep, and we have a monthly strategy session with everybody in that group. Well, I was on a call with one of the brand owners because we were doing a complimentary 15-minute one-on-one, and one of the things that stood out to me about his company, and this is exactly what I'm sharing with you guys, is that he had an idea for who his customer was going to be to start. So he created the branding, the packaging, the messaging, everything was for that person. But then I asked him, okay, you got some sales, you've started it, you've put it out to the market, like we said you should, right? And now who is the customer? And who do you really think is going to be buying these products? Because they're not cheap, they're higher end. And he said, wow, you're absolutely right. It is the mid 30s to early 40s women, and maybe I should be marketing to them, right? So there's certain things that you will find as you launch your company and your brand that you start to understand more of your target audience. Ideally, you launch knowing exactly who you're going to be targeting, and you capture a certain segment of that. Sometimes, though, it might appeal to other people that you didn't think about, and that might be a bigger market for you because they have more spending power. In his example, that was the case. So why do I say this? Because by understanding who your core customer is, you can now start thinking of ideas right out the gate. Oh, this person likes to do this. They love pickleball. They love running. They love doing this. They go to school. They're in college. They're 24. They want to drive a BMW, but they're driving a Honda right now. Like, you literally can start picturing that person. And anytime you see somebody like them, you're like, that's my guy. That's my customer. And what I do, this is a little freaky now. What I do is I'll go up to them and just be like, hey, can you pull up your YouTube or can you pull up your Instagram? And then they're like, oh, why? And I was like, I just want to see how your feed looks, right? Because I want to just watch what they're watching. And I'm like, that's exactly what I thought it was. Or sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, I would not have guessed that that's what it was, right? So you could start to kind of put a picture to who your audience is and who your customers are. And as you meet with them, as you network with them, you can confirm those suspicions, or you can ask follow-up questions in order to learn more about them, right? If you're just getting started, it's all about learning more about them. And you need to put all of this information, you need to put all these details into a nice presentation that you could reference. Add to it each time you learn something about them. Add to it every time you learn about a new channel or social media page or brand that they're buying or following. You want to start compiling this info, because through the use of AI and other tools, you can start to fine tune your content strategy. And in our upcoming trainings, we're going to be diving into more about how to leverage AI with all this information. But for right now, think about your core customer, your core audience. All right. And from that, why is that important? Because when you make a piece of content, it's going to go to your core first. Your core audience is going to get it first. It's going to be the people that the algorithm tests with, right? It's going to be like, okay, this John likes to consume this content. Let's test it with John. If John likes it, shares it, or saves it, okay, it's a good indicator. Let's test it with somebody that looks like John. Now let's test it with somebody that looks like this person. It's always going to test on a small scale first. It tests in little micro buckets. And then if it doesn't resonate with John, they're going to say, okay, let's try to test it with Katie. Doesn't like it with Katie. What about Jordan? What about this person, this person? And if nobody likes it, your content gets no views or very minimal views, right? This is important indicators for you to know. If nobody's watching your content, or very few people are, it means you haven't appealed to more than the couple 50 or 100 people that get your views, right? So you need to continue to tweak it a little. How do you reach more people? And a lot of times it's that hook. It's that first 3 seconds, and it's that way that you map out that story. It's not necessarily about, like, you might be making the right content, but you're not making it the right way, right? So it's also strategy when it comes to content. If you are getting views and you got 100, 200, 400, or 1,000, that means that you have the right content, but you're not making it in the right way. Now, this could also be for a lot of reasons. The reality is that we're all busy, right? Lately on my Instagram and TikTok, my game hasn't been the best. I know what I could do better, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just put it out there for the sake of putting something out versus nothing, right? So at the end of the day, it's also about consistency, and the algorithm will reward you over time if you're consistent. So don't make an excuse of it having to be perfect. Just launch with something, understanding who that core is. Because in order to break away from those 400 or 500 people that are normally watching your core audience, you need to start reaching a passive audience. And a passive audience is somebody that may have interest in that topic or of that brand, but aren't necessarily that core customer or audience avatar. So let's take, for example, I recently did a short on this. I'll take it for the same example. And so I think we could put it back to camera. Actually, let's go to the home feed. Let's open up the home feed under passive. All right, so I'm about to expose myself. You guys are going to see my home feed on Instagram. Now, keep in mind, this is my home feed as of 5 o'clock, right? So if you open up the home feed at 8 a.m., it's different than the home feed at 5 o'clock. Now, at 5 o'clock, we see this guy here, and I want to say he is, and we have a girl there. What type of content is that first one, actually? I think, okay, what's that? Let's pause on one, write her up, or you're the manager. It's her job. So it's something about work related. What time is it? 5 o'clock. Instagram knows I usually leave the office around 6, 7. So it's like, hey, let's relate to him with some work content. Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's scroll to the next one, Preston. Let's see what the next one is. So you guys can start, if you open up your homepage at different times, you'll start to see what the algorithm thinks you're going to like. All right. So if you're a brand trying to reach somebody in a certain demographic, you need to understand what type of content is on their homepage. So the homepage for me was the Reels page on Instagram for the desktop version. Obviously, there's like a For You page when you scroll, but it's a lot of like, hey, inspo, and this is the type of like life. They got some running stuff. It knows I like to run, and some memes and things like that, right? So it's really appealing to 5 o'clock me. All right, so let's bring it back to the cameras real quick. Why do I share that? Why do I say that? Why did we just show those examples? Because time of when you launch is also important. Keep that in mind. If you're making content and you know your avatar, your target customer likes to consume maybe like motivational type of content in the mornings to get his day started right, to get everything going, juices flowing, then you should be posting content earlier in the morning, right? Just because the majority, when it says right there like best times to post, and Instagram just gives you that placeholder 9 to 12, it just means that's when most people are on, right? But if you're trying to reach a certain person, you need to know what their habits are, right? So how are they consuming content? And if your stuff is more funny and entertaining, then that 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock might be your window, right? Because that's when people like to laugh. They like to take a little break from lunch. And if your content is a little more serious, more, a little bit more heavy, maybe it is after work, or maybe it is only on Fridays through Sundays when people are off, right? So there's reasons why we post at the times we post now, because we started to realize who our customer and audience is. And we started to host these live streams a little bit later because we realized, hey, we have more people that are also watching it in different time zones. And even though they might not watch it live right now, they're going to watch the replay over the evening times, and then it compiles to nice viewership, right? So this is all important information as you make your content. You have to think about what times are people watching it. Now, that becomes the passive feed, right? The passive feed is people that may not be interested in that core subject. So in that example, we had like a work-related, like boss, HR manager type stuff. Like, I'm not necessarily their core customer. I'm not looking for that content, but I'm interested in it. It's something that interests me because I think it relates to me, right? So that becomes that passive. That running stuff, that running piece of content, that marathon piece of content that we just showed, that's also more of a passive. I'm not a marathon runner. Do I enjoy watching content of people running like big marathons and pushing it? Yeah, I love that. It's so awesome to see them run, and it inspires me to at least enter a 5K or a sprint triathlon. Like, I love that stuff. But I'm not like the die-hard marathon runner would be on literally running once a month on different competitions, right? So that's a whole different audience member. So you see there's levels to the interest in your actual category. The die-hard fans, the core customer, the passive, which are people that are interested in it, and then the masses. And the masses is things that are just interesting in general, right? It's something that's funny and shareable to everybody. So a good example of that would have been for instance, when we had that CEO scandal with the guy and the girl cheating. Like, that was an HR-ish related piece of content, right? That would have probably fallen on my For You page if it was a passive, but because it broke out and people thought it was hilarious and they shared it and they commented on it and there was a lot of conversation around it, it went to the masses, right? So those are things that you need to keep in mind as you guys develop your brand. And right now, I want to take a little tiny break and let you guys know that this next few minutes are for you guys. Please leave me your questions in the chat. For those of you guys watching, what's a common hurdle you're currently having with social media? What is something that you're having within your marketing? Or perhaps what is just a question that you have that you're just like, man, I wish I would have known this last week. Maybe I can finally get the answer this week, or maybe I can get the reassurance I need. Just make sure you guys leave a little bit of context so we can answer that, because in a few minutes, we're going to be announcing the giveaway details. All right. So this is going to be good. Like I said, if you guys are just joining, we haven't done a giveaway in a pretty long time. It's been over a year. So I wanted to make this one pretty special, and we have the rules announced right in a few minutes. And then if you're in Vegas or around Las Vegas, whether on the live or on the replay, I want you guys to also stick around because we have an opportunity for us to do a nice meet and greet the week of Magic. So if you have a brand, if you're looking to start a brand and you want to be surrounded with education, suppliers, and come meet a bunch of really cool people and people that are building brands, make sure you stick around to the end. We're about to let you guys know how you can enter, and it's going to be a good time. I really enjoy it. All right, so we got Raquette. What are some good ideas for a new brand to post on TikTok? Should it be a brand story or BTS content? So for new brands, all right, let's dive into this. Let's look at it from a perspective of what we just discussed. I think a lot of times it's really easy to do BTS and to do like this piece of content Like BTS is easy. So it's a great place to start. I would say, yes, do it. Do some BTS, do some storytelling. Let people know what your brand is about. I always say start with where you're at. Try not to like do a whole master plan that you get so overwhelmed and you don't do anything. So a BTS is perfect. Whatever ideas flow to your mind, it's about doing them sooner rather than later. And why do I say that? I say that because a lot of times I think people overthink what they're supposed to do and then they don't do it. And also because it takes practice, right? Your first reel or your first piece of post isn't going to be the best. So it's good that you get the reps out. The reps of like, okay, I have this idea, let me film it, let me edit it on CapCut, or maybe edit it right on the Instagram Edits app. Like there's so many tools for you to edit now. It's insane what you can do with just from your phone. So you film it, you edit it, you do your best to do a hook, you do your best to understand who your audience is, then you post it, right? You write a nice caption, you use some hashtags, and you post it. And then you see what happens. Then you see, okay, how many views did it get? How many comments? What could I do better on the next one? Every single post you make should be a growing lesson. It shouldn't be something where you're just like, man, the last one didn't work, so I need to give up now and not do it at all. All right. You should always be trying to improve. And it's just these little tweaks. And it's about getting feedback from people like, hey, I have this page. Can you check it out? Give me some insight. Right. People that are in it will give you their unbiased opinion. And it's about just taking what you're ready to accept right now and changing a couple things up. And you can see some really, really good success. Now, I've worked with a lot of different brand owners as well as content creators. And it's always really cool to see when they take something, I'm like, hey, you should do this. And they do it. And then it starts to blow up. And I'm like, yes, that's so awesome. So everybody loves to help people that are doing something. And my cousin is probably one of the most prime examples. I just pitched him an idea. I said, you got to do this for your brand. It's going to get millions of views. So if he's listening, I hope he's doing it because it's a great piece of content for his audience. Cool. So now let's jump into the next part. Okay. So the next part is going to be the live Q&A. We had the live Q&A. So we only had one good question come in. Guys, if you're watching this, we're about to dive into the giveaway details. All right, Preston, let's open up those giveaways. It should be a JPEG on the downloads. We're going to open up the giveaway details for every single one of you guys watching live, as well as those on the replay. Just know that the giveaway is going to be announced on August 19th. So I'm going to open up these slides. We're going to put together some good stuff here in the future. So we have August 19th is going to be the giveaway announcement. All right. So what does that mean? We're going to announce it on a live stream. So please join us in the August 19th. Mark it on your calendars. We're going to go live at around 3 p.m. But when you enter, we'll give you guys the rules. All right. So we have the giveaway announcement happening August 19th. What does it include? I'm going to offer a one-on-one call with me. It's going to be a 30-minute call, and we're going to be diving into your brand. So I'm going to request a couple of information right up front. So you're going to submit a form. With that form, we're going to actually, strategize and tailor a plan for you. And then during our 30-minute call, we're going to be diving into the nuts and bolts of the business. Now, we're also going to include the brand owner's playbook within that bundle. So the brand owner's playbook, it started at a certain price, it raised, and now we're raising it one more time because it was dirt cheap at the beginning and it was still affordable. It's still affordable today. As I'll let you guys know, by Friday, the price is going up again. So if you haven't gotten it, make sure you get it today. And the URL to that, can we post that in the chat? It's fromthegroundup.io/brand playbook. So fromthegroundup.io/brand playbook. That's going to be the URL to get the brand owner's playbook. Whether you win or you don't win this giveaway, it's an incredible value. And then we're also going to include some blanks. So we're going to be giving you guys a blank selection pack open to US residents only. We're going to ship in the US. When it comes to international, sometimes the blanks and all of that stuff is just a little bit more hurdles than it needs to be, which is why we just keep things in the US when it comes to shipping right now. And planner. So we also have a foundational planner. Now this planner has been used by so many different brands. I still use it every single day, even though it's pen and paper. Something about writing your goals and actually holding yourself to them every day. So the giveaway is going to be August 19th, and we're going to announce 3 winners. To enter, all you got to do is go to fromthegroundup.io. So if you go to fromthegroundup.io, can we pull up that page real quick, Preston? On the fromthegroundup.io, all you got to do is be a part of the free starter kit download. So if you've already downloaded the free starter kit, that means you're already subscribed for the giveaway. You also want to make sure that you've opted into our emails. So we ask you guys to double confirm the email inbox. Make sure you guys actually enter in. So once you enter in your email in there, make sure you go in and click the next email that comes up. That's whoever the people that are opted in are going to be the people that are entered in the giveaway. So if you just enter a generic email in there and it's not verified, it doesn't count. So make sure you verify your email. So once you enter in your email there's some really easy steps. I even made like a little video so you guys can just follow along and make sure you're opted in. So fromthegroundup.io, be a part of the fromthegroundup.io starter kit. It's free. You also get some really incredible downloads and value from that free kit. So go in, download it, and that's going to be the list that enters into this raffle. Now we're going to randomize the winners, right? It's going to be randomized in a list, and we're going to pick out 3. So 3 people are going to win this grand prize. We're going to announce it during Magic, and I'm really excited because I really hope that whoever enters and is a winner really is ready to take action on their brand. So even if you're a brand owner's playbook owner right now, you still have a chance to win because you're a part of that list too. A lot of times people enter from the free list and then they buy the brand owner's list. So yes, as long as you're a part of our community at fromthegroundup.io, you are entered. And if you haven't entered into the community, make sure you go fromthegroundup.io, enter in your email, confirm it, and you're entered for a chance to win. Now, the last thing before we head out, I want to go ahead and invite you guys to Magic Trade Show. All right, so can we pull up the Magic Trade Show? It's going to be a Magic Apparel Las Vegas. I think if you look that up and share that screen. So we got Muhammad. So to enter, fromthegroundup.io, head on over to fromthegroundup.io. And once you do that, you are able to enter in your email, enter in the email and confirm it. So we're going to pull up another event happening. So to launch this event, to actually announce the winners, we're going to announce it at Magic. And I just realized, hey, it would be kind of cool if we had more of a, meet and greet. I know a lot of people come in for that organically. So it'd be a really cool place for us to all connect. So if you're planning to come into Magic, or if you're in Las Vegas, make sure you guys stick around right now. So that's the Magic Trade Show convention. You can just exit off of that home screen, or just go to the home screen. This says registers or exhibit. Is that pop-up still open or no? Huh. So you got to register or exhibit, and then if we close that, it should be good. You can't close it? What about another link? Open up that might have been the advertisement. Okay, so to enter the giveaway, I'm gonna enter in the URL right here, and then brand playbook. Okay, so this is the Magic Trade Show convention. This here is happening September. No, it's actually August. We got the August 18th to the 20th. It's happening in Las Vegas. So if you guys are planning to come out here, or you're in town, or you are coming into town and you're like, hey, I'm not that far away, would love to meet up with you, John, would love to talk with you, would love to get access to this incredible show, make sure you check out the Magic Apparel Convention website, and make sure that you enter into our free download at fromthegroundup.io. Enter in that list. By being a part of that list, we're going to give you guys a way to get badges. Now, we're going to have to limit the amount of passes that we end up giving out, but maybe we'll end up going like 5-10 people. If you're really coming, as soon as you get that first email, reply to that email. We get it. Our team receives every reply. So just say, hey, I'm planning to come down here. Please, can I get a pass? Right? Send us an email. We will take care of you if you're really coming down here. All right. Because it's just a way for us to connect and just to continue to, help each other grow. At the end of the day, that's what this channel is all about. And the channel is, let's bring it back to the cameras. So at the end of the day, that is what our channel is about, guys. We're here to assist you throughout your journey. It could be a lonely one. It could be a confusing one. So I really hope that this social media training where we dive into, what are the most important things that you need to consider in order for your content to be shared? How do you go viral? What little tactics do you implement? It begins by understanding the 6 key pillars. And then from that, understanding who your target audience is and what they watch and consume, and creating content that they like. If you do that, you are on the right track with your brand, with your personal business, or with any business that you have. These are the strategies that we recommend. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you leave a comment down below with any other questions, or if you'd like to see more of this type of content. I would love to really expand on things because I've literally spent the last 10 years understanding different algorithms. I spent literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars just learning more about video and about, how the algorithms function. I've gotten to meet so many cool YouTubers and learned from incredible creators, and they've shown me the things that they work, and I've paid for masterminds and time from them, right? So I feel like I know a lot, but I don't know if this is an interesting topic for you or not. So let me know by commenting down below if you want us to expand on this or perhaps do some future trainings on it as part of the brand playbook. So I hope every single one of you guys who joined us in a live stream enjoyed this stream. Make sure you enter the giveaway. We're going to link it in the description below right after the replay. And we'll see you guys in an upcoming trade show if you're coming to Magic. See you guys on the next one. Have a great evening.